Damas y caballeros, welcome back to Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Freeform Network. Send in those questions, suggestions, ffnquestions@gmail.com. But enough of the intro. Let's get to it. I am one of your hosts. My name is Daniel. Next to me today is Andy.
What's going on, man, here? I hope you guys, I hope my microphone mushroom cap thing is strong enough to block off the thunderstorms that are heading your way.
All right. And then Noel.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm happy to be back and looking forward to this episode.
Yeah, man, you sound refreshed and ready to go. And we're ready to go here too, man. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so hopefully it doesn't distract you, my very white voice here a little bit. But we'll get through it right here. Because tell them what's up, Andy. What episode is this, man?
So we made it to episode 100, guys. We want to thank y'all for listening, and I've said it numerous times. It's a labor of love. We're not doing it for the riches, but we're hoping that comes one day. But just a quick note, man. I'm glad we're still doing this. I know it hasn't been easy. We're still doing it, and we want to thank y'all, guys. We want to thank everybody for listening. If you guys have any comments or thoughts on the 100th episode of Freeform Radio?
Yes, sir, man. This is just a tip, man. The rest is coming in.
The 6 inches are coming later?
Exactly.
All right.
Definitely happy that we're made it to 100. I know we're going to have a bright future ahead of us. We're working on all the kinks, and we're just trying to make it, flesh it out better, make it more interesting for you guys, make it more entertaining for us. And it's been a great ride so far, so I'm looking forward to what's ahead.
Yeah, great, man. I mentioned in the when you introduced me, Dan, about the thunderstorms. Well, I'm glad I made it to episode 100 because on my phone it just popped up. There's not a tornado watch, but a tornado warning for the next 40 minutes. So if I don't make it and my house gets blown away, I hope you guys are able to upload the episode. So if I don't make it, it's been nice knowing everyone, except a couple people.
If that mushroom cap survives, can I have it?
I don't know, man. That's if the tornado doesn't take it away. But
right.
I'll be here, man. I'll try to give you as much live coverage as I can, but hopefully we'll make it. With that being said, man, me and Danny talked numerous times about this show. Me and my wife love it. Yellowstone. We finished season 2. I know, Danny, you've been talking about it. I know you finished it. Noel, I don't know how much or if any of you watched the show on the Paramount Network. Have you seen it at all?
I actually have not, but I'm curious about it. I'm a big TV guy, so curious to hear what you had to say about it.
So it's a man, John Dutton, Kevin Costner, Superman's dad, plays this guy who plays a patriarch of this family that owns a ranch in Montana, and he's fighting to keep people off or people coming around trying to fuck with his land. And you just got to watch it. I highly recommend it. I'm not going to give out too much details, but the season 1 was great. Season 2, it started off good. Like every season, it's all steak, no filler. There was only 9 episodes, and like the last 3 episodes, it really picked up. They had, it was kind of not slow, but they were building up to something. And then at the last 3 episodes, it's just like bang, bang, bang. There's killing, there's fucking attempted rapes, there's kidnapping, they're fucking killing cattle. I'm trying to keep it as spoiler free as I can, but me and the missus can't get enough of it.
So is it a lot of drama, or is it like science based as well, or
no? It's like a Western almost, in the modern times.
Right. So it's like the old cowboy age, but they ride in helicopters every now and then, and they got some modern technology to help them do their cowboy stuff. But yeah, I agree with Andy. I think the season 2 started off very hot. Season 1 was great all the way through. And season 2 started really hot, and I was a little disappointed with the last episode and the way it wrapped up. Like Andy said, it was like bang, bang, and to me it was a little too quick. It was almost deserving of like a 2 hour special season finale kind of thing. Just because there was so much storyline that needed to get wrapped up, and it was just like one thing next, and it just didn't flesh out the way I would like it. But great season overall. I don't want to crap
They
on
had
it
to
too
wrap
much.
up the arc, basically.
Right. I don't want to crap on it too much just because of what I thought was a poor last episode. Great season. It's definitely a must watch if you're a cowboy fan and Kevin Costner fan as well.
Now let me ask this: it's called Yellowstone. In what relation does it like, or what connection does it have to actual Yellowstone?
It doesn't have any. The only connection is the name of the ranch, because the family who owns it's the Duttons. They named their ranch Yellowstone, and their
Gotcha.
biggest gripe is with the community and people around them. They have a lot of fucking land, and people are always coming to try to take it. And season two, in the last episode, you see uh, John Dutton's father talk about don't give him an inch, don't give it up. Like we got this shit, it's ours. Don't give up an inch, before the old man passes away. And so that's he's been fighting basically his whole adult life, trying to keep as much or and protect his ranch because he wants to keep it in the family.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. It's based in Montana, I believe, is the state that it's in.
Yeah.
All right.
So I highly recommend it. Check it out. The only other thing where I've been fucking stupid internet, man. I guess we're an internet show. So the stupid Popeyes chicken shit. I've talked to some people. I know it kind of died down, but I've talked to numerous people who have been trying to find this fucking sandwich, and it's ridiculous. And I've talked to one person who actually tried it. You've seen the fucking reviews. You've seen the YouTube, Facebook videos. Co-worker of mine, he was driving after work trying to find it. He was getting pissed that they didn't have it. And then they're comparing it to Chick-fil-A. I even saw videos of they had the CEO of Popeye, or the corporate company. He's like, the only thing we messed up, we misunderstood how popular or viral this chicken sandwich was gonna go, because they're officially tapped. They sold every fucking chicken breast known to man, apparently.
Oh.
So they're not making money on it. When it comes down to it, it's just a fucking chicken sandwich. People go fucking get a pizza or something.
Right. I like Chick-fil-A. I think they're a really good sandwich. I have not had a chance to try this Popeyes, but I've heard mixed reactions out there. Some people say Popeyes took the new crown, and some people still say Chick-fil-A is the best chicken sandwich.
If anything, I'd wager probably Popeyes has the king of the sandwiches. I always like their chicken better anyway, but I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's a fucking chicken sandwich, man. Like, people are fucking fighting each other over this shit, and it's just like, I think I sent you a message, or I tagged you in something like on the Boondocks, like people are fucking overreacting because they ran out of chicken and shit.
Yeah, they did an
A
episode where they
spoof,
were,
yeah.
yeah, but that was from something that actually happened maybe like 5-10 years ago when they ran out of chicken at like Kentucky Fried Chicken or something.
Because they're doing some promotion or some shit like new spice or something, and
Right.
the community went crazy, and the cartoon, they're like, these motherfuckers talking about they out of chicken. Like, man, I planned my whole day around this shit. How can they be out of chicken? And people just fucking snapping and fucking running cars into the restaurant and shit. It's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking food, I mean, I don't know what else. I, the more I think about it, kind of delves into what we're gonna talk about later on in the show. Is just, god damn, man, we need a fucking plague or something. It's just a fucking chicken sandwich, like, and what people go crazy about now, it's unbelievable.
It's first world problems, man.
I mean, I hate saying that, but I mean, what other way can you put it,
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had Chick-fil-A and their chicken sandwich is pretty good, but when I started seeing this shit talking about oh man, Popeyes versus Chick-fil-A and all these fucking reviews. It just goes to show what's going on in our society about the trivial shit that where
That
people
this is
make it
important.
newsworthy. Yeah, like this is important compared to all the shit that's going on. But man, maybe it is that fucking good where people you're willing to fucking fight somebody for it. Like I don't know, I haven't tried it, and I'm debating to go just fucking swing by and if they have it and just fucking throw it in the air and drive away.
I am planning to try it. I'm not as desperate or crazy as these other people driving to like 4 Popeyes. But if I run across one, I definitely do plan to try it just to compare it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but you're not gonna go out of your way, right? You're not gonna be like, oh man, I gotta go fucking find this. I'm gonna make calls and I'm gonna fucking tell motherfuckers like, yo man, I heard they got some over here and you'll be fucking driving over there and shit.
Nah, I'm not a loser, man.
God damn shit. But what you're willing to drive somewhere for a pizza or some shit or no?
Nah,
Or is
nah,
it just because it's
man.
chicken?
No, I just want to try it just to see what all the hype is about. But I'm
I
not like a
knowing you,
chicken.
Danny,
I'm
you're
not a
just gonna
chicken
shit
sandwich
on it.
fanatic or nothing.
I mean, some people are just like they're food fanatics. Like they just get obsessed with food and they get giddy like kids do you remember when the PS2 came out and I called like every single Toys R Us in the state trying to find like the first one that would get the first batch of them,
Right.
and then you
Right.
ended up getting it like a day or two before it actually released.
Yeah, it's crazy sometimes what we get really excited about, and you just have to get it.
You know?
It's a chicken sandwich, man. That's all I can say. It ain't like this is a fucking new car or like a Tesla or something. So I don't know, man. To me, I wanted to talk about it a bit and bring it up. You guys let us know if anybody fucking tried it or fucking Popeyes. Send us to the secret fucking spot to tell us where I know you guys got chicken breasts somewhere where we could get this fucking chicken sandwich and give it our review because the way people are acting out there it's fucking ridiculous. So, but because people are beating each other up for a fucking sandwich. I mean, search those videos. I like watching fast food beat up fights. So, but
Now if it was some like cheddar tots or something, man, now that's worth driving somewhere for.
well, I don't know, man. Speaking of cheddar tots or cheese curds, when you went, I see you went on a trip, Danny, and that's it's a good commute from Chicagoland to get cheese curds, or you just went up there and just went there to ride the ducks.
Yeah, I just went to the Dells a week or so ago, and yeah, man, had to get some Wisconsin cheese, some beef jerky, and whatnots that they offer there in the Dells. And man, it was a good trip. It was a good trip. It's been a while since I went to the Dells, a few years definitely, and went back with the family, the wife and Junior, and man, it was a really good time, man. The drive up there wasn't that bad. We went during the week, so the traffic wasn't bad at all. Got there in a couple hours and really enjoyed ourselves. It was probably the longest stay that we've had at the Dells. We stayed 4 nights,
Damn.
and it was plenty of time to do everything that we wanted, and even with kind of like a non-schedule, itinerary, we were just kind of flow with it. Uh, we did a lot, and we still were left with things that we were hoping to do, and we didn't get a chance to do. So it sounds like we might have to return back in a couple of years and maybe finish up that checklist of the things that we wanted to try.
Did you buy fudge?
No, no, I'm a diabetic, so if I have fudge, I'll probably just keel over right there, and I might as well just call the ambulance while I'm sitting there.
Do you think you would die happy if you ate the fudge?
I'm not that much of a chocolate eater. I mean, I'll eat me a good Snickers every now and then, but I don't crave it. It doesn't call out to me, which is probably a good thing. Otherwise, my diabetes would probably be a lot worse. But it's not something that really calls out to me. So even like ice cream with like fudge all over it doesn't call me. I'd rather just have plain ice cream without the fudge dripped all over it.
So you don't really got a sweet tooth then. You got more like the savory tooth.
I would say, if anything, my sweet tooth is more towards fruit. I could eat watermelon, peaches, nectarines, apples, all that stuff, which being more of a natural sugar is not as bad for you, but it's still equally as bad if you go crazy and eat, the whole watermelon by yourself. So,
That won't have an impact on your diabetes.
right. Well, I mean, it's a natural sugar, so your body processes it a lot easier, but it's still bad for you if you go nuts. So, yeah, it was a great trip, man. We didn't do the ducks this time, since the last time we were up there a few years ago, we did do the Wisconsin ducks. This time we did a boat tour, which went through the upper portion of the Dells, and that was pretty cool because it was more like a chillax ride in the lake that they have, and then it took you in through these caverns, and you got to see like these cool rock formations, and it was a lot more chill and relaxed than the boat tour, the duck boat tour, because that guy kind of goes a little crazier, a little faster.
Real quick, Danny, you mentioned that you stayed at a cabin. Now, was like a cabin in the woods, or was it like kind of resort like, or was it just like, when you get to the Dells, there's like that big strip when you get off the exit? Is it like really down, or is it like off somewhere, or is it just like they call it a cabin, but it's just like a bigger sized hotel or something?
Yeah, I mean, it was inside the woods. It wasn't on the strip itself. I think I mentioned it a couple podcasts ago that I was going to do the timeshare thing. So I did the timeshare thing, and I got to stay in a cabin for a really affordable price. And it was sweet, man, because you're like right in the woods. It's like a good 10-minute drive from the strip, and you're like right in there, and you got a cabin just for yourself. It was a 2-bedroom cabin, and it was nice, man. We got to stay out there. The weather was pretty chill and kind of on the coolish side, if anything, and we just got to enjoy the nights hanging out up by the deck.
So, did you do another timeshare when you got to the before they let you go to the cabin, or you did that already? You paid your dues, right?
No. Anytime you sign up, you have to go to the timeshare presentation
when you're there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, while you're there. So when you got there, you got to pick the available time slots that they have for the presentations, and we took the first one that was available and went and just got it over with, so we could have the rest of the time to do whatever we wanted to do and not worry about having to spend 2 hours listening to their sales pitch.
That's where I applaud you and Alana, because I wouldn't have the patience for that shit. And you guys are like pros at that shit. Just like nah.
Yeah,
how many times do you say no? Like 100?
It was our third timeshare that we've done presentation wise, and this one was probably the easiest, just because the other two we kind of were like, well, maybe, and we have to see if we can make it work. And as soon as you give them that little nibble, they just don't let go. And this time I told Alana, I'm like, my game plan is just going to be no. I don't care how much it costs. He's like, unless you're giving it away for free, the answer is no. And it worked, man. It was just a little bit over 2 hours, and we got to enjoy our trip right afterwards.
Damn. That's insane, dude. I'm glad you guys could do it. I don't know. I don't think I could do it, man.
So when you go to the presentation, do they lower the rate after that? Because you said you stayed 4 nights. How many nights can you stay? Or
well, if I remember right, when you first sign up, we signed up at Bass Pro Shop. They had like a little stand, and they were giving trips away, and trying to get people to come into the timeshare stuff. And the standard package is like a 2-night stay for free. So they'll give you a 2-night stay at a hotel. So just like a standard hotel on the strip for free if you go to the timeshare thing. Or if you want to pay, I think it was like $50 a night, you get upgraded to a 4-night stay, but at a log cabin. But you still have to do the same presentation. So you either pay $50 a night and you get a log cabin, or you get the free hotel and you just go for 2 nights. So me and Alana decided to upgrade so we can get the cabin, and just do the whole 4 night stay that they offered. So it was a good time.
So would you do the cabin again, or would you go back to the hotel?
To be honest, the two other times that I've done it there, I've never done the hotel, but just from the first time that we went and we got the log cabin because we're back then we were flossing all crazy, because we were just married, and it's just like, damn man, let's come up here and floss and wear our gold watches and whatnot. We heard the stories from the other people because they put you in these group meetings and they start talking about, yeah, I'm at the hotel and the water, I don't even got hot water. And you heard like a little bit of the horror stories of the people that just got the hotel package. And ever since that, since the first time, me and Alana were like, well, we're never staying at the hotel. I don't want to push my luck. So the other two times that we've gone, we've always pitched in a little extra and just got the log cabin.
Very nice. Cool, cool.
But yeah, man, it was a good trip. Junior enjoyed himself. We invited a few family members out there, but people with kids and stuff, and nobody kind of nibbled on it. So it was just us. But even if it was just us, we still enjoyed ourselves, and it was definitely a good time. Uh, Maybe not go back anytime soon. I mean, there's only so much you can really do at the Dells. And like I mentioned, there's still a few things that we would like to do. So it definitely probably merits another trip. But I'm probably thinking another trip in maybe like 2-3 years at the soonest. And then maybe by then we're eligible again for another timeshare package.
Very
But a
nice.
bigger upgrade.
Right. Because I don't think you can go year after year. I think there's like a set time before you can take take this opportunity again and get the free hotel or upgrade into the cabin. So we'll probably wait 2 or 3 years and be eligible again before we go sign up and do the Dell trip again. But
Cool.
jumping on to you, Noel, man, heard you got some TV watching, and we're watching seasons 1 and 2 of The Terror. I myself, I'm a kind of a horror thing. It sounds kind of a horror thing, and I'm a horror fan. Tell me about it because I haven't really heard about this one.
So it is kind of horror, but it is a twist with like semi-biographical. So the season one, it's a horror anthology. Season one and two, they have nothing to do with each other, but they still are under the same name. And so in season one, just to kind of recap it, it had to deal with England sending out two naval ships to circle the Arctic, and they wanted them to charter it and like map it out and everything, and find a new passage through, so that way they can go to, I guess, the Newfoundland, like Canada and etc. I don't know if you kind of know where I'm talking about. It's like it's the North Pole, pretty much. That's where they
Wasn't
went.
Trump just trying to buy that?
So right now, it's kind of it's pretty interesting that I started watching this because I started reading up a little bit, and yeah, it turns out that there's talks about buying Greenland,
Yeah. Okay, my bad. Yeah.
which is very close. It's actually like pretty much right by there. Um, and anyway, in season one, it's about these two naval ships going to chart it and like map it out and everything, and find a passage through. And this is in the 1800s, so this is way back there. There was not many advances, so it has to deal with a lot of like historical struggles. People dying of disease, people getting malnourished while on a boat for months and months, and sometimes years on end. And when they get to the North Pole, they have their own struggle because at a moment where they could choose to turn back and you know pretty much avoid any kind of freezing or getting stuck, they decide to stay and weather it through. And so they think that, because in the North Pole, I don't know if you guys know how it works, but every summer usually it'll start melting a little bit. It'll break way where you can travel through it. But towards the winter, it freezes up completely, and the North Pole it kind of seems like a landmass, but it's all made of ice. But it's similar to a landmass where you could walk on it for miles and miles and miles. So unfortunately, they got frozen, and just to kind of sum it up, a lot of things go wrong. Obviously, this is the 1800s, so there's a lot of luxuries that these sailors are not getting, and people start to turn on each other. It really starts to test the human spirit and what you can endure before you start to, lose it. Being stuck out there in the freezing cold for a year with little food, and there's all sorts of complications that I don't want to get into the spoilers. It's not really a horror movie or a show, I should say, but it's kind of like a drama thriller.
And it's just one ship?
It's two ships. One of them is the flagship, and the other one's called the Terror, and that's what it's kind of based off of. And it's actually an interesting story because let me see if I can actually find it. There's a story about it. It's kind of like a myth. Well, not really a myth, but have you ever heard of the Dyatlov Pass?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
What network is this on?
This is on AMC.
Oh, okay. So is it being broadcast now, or is this an older TV show?
No, this is a relatively new show. It came out last year. This is season 2 this year. It's on the AMC, and there is a true story behind season 1 if you look it up. I kind of compared it, and there's some similarities and some very like Hollywooded stuff, but it's still overall really good. Season 1, season 2 is kind of what has my attention right now, and I'm really eager to get through this season. It's actually it kind of hits you like your empathy and your humanity. It gets you there because season 2, just to kind of sum it up really quickly, entails the history of how we treated the Japanese people, American citizens, during World War II, because we were fighting, Germany and Japan,
Right?
And other Italy too, but it mainly dealt after Pearl Harbor. So, the show starts with you in nearby Hawaii where it got attacked. There's an island.
Season 2 or season 1?
Season 2.
Yeah, now you're talking about like in the 40s.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Season 1 and 2 have nothing to do with each other. It's a horror anthology, like American Horror Story.
Right. Okay.
So season 2 is about Japanese people during the World War II, and I don't know if you guys know about how I forgot what they called the directive, but there was a bill passed that forced all the Japanese people, even American citizens, to be put in an internment camp throughout the duration of World War II. So that lasted about 3 years, from 42 to 45.
I do remember seeing a small documentary on that, and I thought it was wild how after Pearl Harbor, they just started rounding up anybody that was suspicious, even if you were a U.S. citizen, and just locking them up. It was a really crazy time for sure.
Thousands of Japanese people died throughout that time, throughout those 3 years, because they were kind of living in poor conditions. They also lost all their property, or most of them probably lost most of their property. They could only bring about 2 suitcases with them per person, and so obviously you're leaving your home, everything you worked for. You obviously you weren't born in the United States. You came from Japan with probably nothing. If you had a car, well, you had to give it to somebody that you could trust, or get rid of it, because otherwise it was just gonna be confiscated. And it was just a crazy time. So it has to deal with that, and it centers on one family that kind of has a folklorish Japanese demon that follows them. And so it is kind of more on the horror side, which is why I really like this season. The first season had its own horror elements, but it was mainly just dealing with like the thriller and the humanity and the way people betray each other. The more drama side. This one's more on the horror side.
Man, didn't Bruce Lee kick that fucking demon's ass and Enter the Dragon or some shit? Or when they did the biopic movie?
Right, that was the first thing I thought about when you were saying that.
Like,
yeah,
that's funny. I mean,
you know what I'm talking about, right? What movie?
Yeah, the Dragon.
The Way of the Dragon or the Dragon?
I believe it was called the Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is it like the family have notoriety like within the Japanese community, or they just know that they're cursed, or they control the demon?
So the demon is kind of takes a form of a young woman that deceives a lot of different people, and so it not only affects one central family. Well, it affects the central family, but it also affects the community as a whole. And they start breaking down, and certain people start having just anxiety attacks, and things go crazy. I don't want to give any spoilers out there. It's worth watching. So just put it on your radar. Season 2 has more of the horror element mixed with, like I said, the dramatic part of being in an internment camp during World War II as an American citizen.
Yeah, so the first movie had the the ship called the Terror. Does this second one have anything connected to the Terror?
Honestly, it does not so far that I can see. I'm only on episode 4 because it comes out every week, and there's 10 episodes for this season. So I haven't still made that connection to the Terror. My guess, honestly, is that maybe it started out as just the show about season 1, about the ship, the Terror, and then they're like, "Hey, let's just have a season 2 and just keep it the same name." That's probably what ended up happening. But maybe they'll try to make it work in. Maybe the Japanese word for terror is, something that's gonna fit into all this.
Right.
I gotta check it out. I'm not a big fan of American Horror Story. How they like change it each season. I know it was like popular for a while. I don't know, but
Well, I mean, this doesn't have the same actors, so I
yeah.
shouldn't compare it to American Horror Story. It's only similar in that it's a different storyline, but the characters and the actors are all separate. There's no recurring character from the
Mm.
season 1.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll put it on my queue if it hits on Netflix, man.
You should definitely check it out. Season 1's probably already on there. If you have AMC shows on Netflix, it's probably on there already.
They were for a while. I don't know about now. I know after all the bullshit that's going on with the streaming stuff.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's getting crazy right now.
Right.
But everybody wants to become a streamer.
Yeah,
One
man.
day.
Now Apple TV is going to start streaming. They just had their press conference a few days ago, and now they're getting into the home streaming TV stuff.
Yeah, I
These
mean,
are the times.
with technology advancing, man, that's how things go. It used to be you had to go to Blockbuster and rent a movie, and now you turn on your smart TV and you have access to thousands, endless hours of entertainment.
Which includes freeform radio on Podbean.
It
Right.
definitely does. And that kind of leads us to this week's article. The headline here, the way it reads, is if you're still alive in 30 years, you might live to be 1,000 years old. And so, of course, with technology advancing, we've pretty much maximized, at least for the moment, our lifespan potential. The current record right now for age is a lady that lived to be 123 years old. A lady by the name of Jeanne Calment. Um, so this article, quickly to summarize it, it kind of goes into an explanation of how with technology advancing and how we're fighting off disease at a much better rate than way back in our previous generations. We've wiped out plagues, we've wiped out cholera and certain just illnesses and deformities and genetic maladies that's come out throughout the ages. So at this point, they're kind of saying and hinting that at a certain point where technology reaches its pinnacle and its medicine reaches its next level, that yeah, we might be able to expand our lifespan to maybe 300, 500, 1,000 years. And it also includes a couple documentaries here, which I do recommend our listeners get around to watching eventually when they have a chance. It kind of goes into detail about how the trend is making it seem like humanity is no longer as essential as it used to be. How the workforce is dwindling little by little, and people's skill set is going to be pretty soon obsolete, which is exactly the actual title of the documentary.
But that's not by choice. Is just more companies are being more automated with robots, and they're gonna require less and less humans, I guess, to make stuff that we used to, and it's gonna be a deadly clash when that time comes, because I think it is gonna happen.
Well, let me ask you guys, what age do you think is a long enough age to live? I mean, do you hope one day you can live to be 1,000?
Why even stop at 1,000? Hypothetically speaking, and
Right, right, right. You
let,
know, and let's say 2,000, 3,000, whatever. What is a long enough period, or do you want to live forever? Is that what I'm hearing?
Danny, you can live to 1,000, but they won't. Your dick's not gonna work. You're gonna still. Is that called living?
No, that's not living in my book for sure.
like the way I look at it is, if you can live longer, why not live longer?
I
Right.
mean,
I think it all depends on your quality of life. I mean, if your quality of life is sustained, then to live longer, it's feasible. It's something that, I wouldn't mind. But if my quality of life sucks, then I'm almost thinking like, let's get this shit over with and get the ball rolling and getting out of here already.
Well, I completely understand that. That's a totally different thing than what we're seeing here. What we're seeing here is that with technology advancing, we'll be able to live a healthier life, even in our, 200s, 300s.
well, you got to think about it in all seriousness. That you got to think about one thing that I know with technology, you could do a lot of things with living longer. But think about, you gotta grow mentally, in because you 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 can't just be physically to 1,000, and mentally you can still be like a dumb fuck, because that's not gonna do anything. I mean, you're still gonna be doing, eating crap or fucking doing stupid shit, because I could live up to 1,000. You gotta grow mentally too, because as you get older, generally the rule is you get wiser, right? Because you've seen stuff and you had some experiences, and you're somewhat not dumb. That's where I don't see, like, I can live to 1,000, but what age am I gonna be? Like, how? I mean, I know what age, but mentally, what age are you stuck at? Because I mean, our brain's not wired to live that long.
Well,
Right.
I mean, let me ask you this: how old are you guys right now?
I'm in my 40s.
I'm in my
Okay.
late 30s,
Yeah, right.
All right,
early
so
40s.
all right, let's say you guys are in your 40s. So that means you at least have another half of this, a double this, right? Essentially, hopefully. If you guys take care of yourselves, you guys at least at minimum reach another half, another 40. So imagine all the things you've accomplished in these 40 years of living, how many memories you've had, all the nights you've had, all the good things and all the bad things, but the things you learn from, essentially, because everything that happens to you is a learning experience. So in these 40 years that you've lived, you've gotten to be as wise as you are. We're making this podcast right now, and uh, you've struggled through certain things in your life that you've overcome to get to this point where you're still alive. I mean, back in the day, 40 years old, you'd be fucking dead. Way back in the day, but our ancestors are fucking made of fucking iron, and so they survived throughout all of those generations, whereas other people died, and we've gotten to this point. So in the next 40 years, who knows where you're gonna be, bro? You could be fucking making rockets. You don't know. It's whatever you want to do. What do you want to do with the rest of your life? So yeah, if we live to 1,000, it could be depressing for those people who have no mission, no drive, no initiative. But if you have something you want to do in this life, and you're able to think and do, and you're capable, then shit, the sky's the limit with 1,000 years.
Right. I think it all depends. I mean, if I could live 1,000 years and have a great quality of life and be able to still accomplish the stuff that I have and still have aspirations to do things and be able to accomplish those things, then yeah, man, the sky's the limit. Let's keep it going. But I mean, even the article kind of mentions how would you be willing to live to 1,000 if it was a Wall-E style lifestyle, Wall-E the Disney movie, where everybody's just in these hover chairs watching tablets and just getting fed and not basically doing anything because they can't do anything. Like, is it worth living that long and getting that old to live that kind of lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing up a specific scenario, which I mean, that scenario kind of sucks. What that reminds me of is like an early retirement home, because like literally you're just doing like just nothing really. It just you're just biding your time until it's over. You're just
Well,
living day by day.
that's like I'm saying, like mentally, that you're when you're in your 20s, you're like, fuck yeah, I want to live forever. But as you grow older and you experience things like family, marriage, kids, your mind starts to mentally, you start morphing into something different, and sometimes to a point where you're like, yeah, man, my life's been all right. If I drop dead now, I think I'll be all right. I'm good with it. Even if you're like in your 70s or 60s, you're mentally, your body, and sometimes I feel like spiritually, you're preparing. Basically, you are born to die. It's just a matter of when you die, and as you get older, you're preparing yourself somewhat for death because you're not gonna live to 1,000. To me, I think you asked earlier what kind of is the time right age. I think 150 max is. I think you'll get to see somewhat more immediate family, great grandkids and all that, and you still have some connection to everybody that you met. But anything over than that, I'm not gonna say you might get depressed, but you're gonna have a different outlook, and depending on what your goals is or what you want to focus on, you want to be a art or you want to build stuff. In Danny's quality of life, it depends what you put your mind to do. Because some people just live for their families, some people live for other crap. But generally, I think here in America, people just want to be with their families, and I think um, I think that's what motivates them the most when they retire.
Right. I think most people, when they would read an article like this, might think that this is kind of fantasy and not feasible. But I gotta admit, if you ask somebody from, the 1860s, and, their life expectancy was probably 40s, maybe.
They'd be dead by now.
Right. They would be lucky if they make it to 40s. And if you would tell them, there's going to be a day where, the average lifespan is in the 80s, they would be like, no way, there's no way that could happen. So I could see how some people might kind of shrug this article off, but I think it has some merit. There is definitely strives and improvements that have been done in the medical field that I think life can be prolonged, especially with the way modern medicine is moving.
I not only think that it's going to be prolonged, I think we're going to get to a point where we're going to merge with AI. Merge
Oh
with
shit!
they're
Yeah,
already making strides, dude. I don't.
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah.
I
Insert theme song. Da, 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 dun.
I've already.
Would you
I've done
do
my
that, Noel? You put machine stuff like the biometric shit. It is coming. I agree with you that it's going to be an interesting dilemma.
Yeah, like, I'm telling you, the world is going to be changing. From where you guys are coming from, I get it. I respect it. I just don't think you guys are realizing the monumental changes that are going to happen if if this article were true, and we live to be 1,000. Every single person can potentially, without accidents, all the stupid stuff that can happen. Without those things happening, live to 1,000. The world is gonna freaking change. Nothing is gonna be like you think. You said great grandkids. You might have great grandkids. You might have remarried, and you might have a freaking like 10, 20, 100 partners.
Well,
and your
that's what I'm
1,000 year
saying.
lifetime.
Yeah, you're breaking down. If you live that old, you're breaking down certain barriers that we grew up with, like marriage. Imagine you being married to the same person for 1,000 fucking years.
That's what I'm
and,
saying.
that, and then you have your kids, grandkids, great grandkids. That's something that you need. I mean, we're touching just the surface of it. Like when it comes down to homes, average person buys a house, they pay it off in 30 years. Now, what's that going to do to properties? And like, just think economically, um, job wise is just, I mean, we're just touching personally. Like I said, I don't think I want to live to 1,000. And then, I would 150 would be great, I think.
I want to make it as far as possible. I can just only imagine in 1,000 years, because think about it like this: within a couple hundred years, we've come an incredibly long way, ridiculously
Yeah.
long way. In 1,000 years, oh my God! Like we're gonna be on another freaking level. We're gonna be traveling to other galaxies, making wormholes, fucking making our own little universe microscopically. Like freaking Marvel will be like reality. Like we'll have weapons that can give us these powers. Who knows, dude? The sky is literally the limit. Whatever we can imagine, it seems like we can create. And like I said, I've been doing a lot of research on this stuff. Uh, Elon Musk had my attention in an episode of Joe Rogan's podcast,
Yeah.
and he's talking about Neuralink, which
Hmm.
it kind of merges you with machine. So would I do it? I would do it if it granted me the abilities that I desire to be granted from something like that. Now, if it gives me the ability to increase my IQ to another like unknown level where I can think, ask a question, and like research everything, like I'm hooked up to everything, like you know what I mean? Like information is just streamless, like it's just boom right there.
There,
Yes.
I'm sorry. No, real quick. There is an episode. I don't. You ever heard of the Outer Limits? That show.
Yeah.
They came back in the 90s. They did an episode where like that Neuralink, where everybody has like this earpiece that's attached to your brain, and you instantly know everything. You just search it, and all this information pops up in your head. And there's people who are their brain capacity or something limits them from not having it, and people are mocking them because they're reading books. They're just like trying to get rid of books, and people go to restaurants and like they're bringing as soon as you sit down, they're bringing in your food because everything is at pre-ordered because you're so linked up to this like network, and they have virus happens and it just starts killing everybody, and there's like all these people trying to solve it, and the guy that solves it is the guy who's not connected to the network.
I
Ah.
mean, I think information is part of it, but being able to process the information. I mean, there's a lot of dumb people out in the world that if you show them the formula for trig, it doesn't matter that you give him the information. He's unable to process it. So without being able to process this infinite information that you're saying, I would think it'd be kind of difficult. Now, for somebody who's intellectual, who wants and is hungry for information, then those are the people that are going to thrive. Those are the people that, if they're linked to some kind of like database, some kind of like a WikiLink, Google, resource center, those are the people that are really going to, get the benefits.
I mean, well, we don't really know how it's gonna work. It's possible that this Neuralink can help you comprehend it. You know what I mean?
Like the
what is
Matrix.
what is learning? How do you get this information and all of a sudden you understand it? It's like
Right.
it's like you're
Yeah, is it going to be like those Matrix cartridge where you can kind of learn kung fu by just downloading the program into your brain?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's some people have warned against that. They're like, well, if you can, download information and you're hooked up to something, can't you get a virus? And it's like, yeah, I guess that could ring true. You might be able to get hacked and then somebody could control you. But if I was one of the first individuals to get this, and like I said, it granted me the ability to think on another level, then I would be hopefully working towards defending myself initially. Like that
Yeah.
would be the first thing I would
Again,
think.
Danny, you're saying that like, well, it's people who are searching that knowledge. They're gonna have access to it, and they're pretty sure they want to do something with it, and it's just like random shit coming at your head. So they're like, I want to know more about this trig shit. So they're gonna search all this trig, and it just automatically gets fed into it, kind of like your phone. Elon Musk, I heard that episode. He talks about we already kind of have it. It's our cell phone. People are automatically when they're looking for researching, they go straight to their phone. It's not connected to our head, or we don't have the band. I remember he kept saying bandwidth to get all this information. So I mean, if you're searching for it, that means you're gonna do something with it for that information.
I mean, it's kind of like how me and you kind of spoke earlier, and that you were telling me a story during lunch of this person that we know that went back to school, an older person, and struggled to absorb the information. And it's not that the person's not intelligent. It's just that what's being taught is something that they're not familiar with. So things like that, I think, would be difficult for people, unless it's like the Matrix, where they download the program and you automatically comprehend everything. Otherwise, if you show me some physics formula, I'm not going to understand it unless somebody maybe walks me through it and goes, well, this is the principle for this, and this is how this works. But just because you show me the formula doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to comprehend it and be able to start using it.
Y'all can't be Will Hunting, man.
Right.
Look at it like this. Why are there geniuses, and why are there people that have these abilities to learn these things easily? What
They're
we're
probably,
talking about is
they're probably on
raising
the spectrum.
well, no, well, the IQ. I mean,
Right.
this is what we're getting at, the IQ. So these machines will increase your IQ. So we don't know exactly how it works because we're not fucking geniuses, unfortunately. But what I'm
Whoa,
saying is
whoa, I am.
this will make us be geniuses. So you will be able to understand it. You won't need somebody to walk you through it.
But
You'll
don't
be
maybe you can manipulate it where we're only a handful of people are geniuses and we run this shit and everybody else stays dumb.
I mean, there's textbooks out there that you would literally be looking at and within seconds absorbing the textbook's information. That is your teacher. That you would know it because you read it and you would comprehend it because your IQ is on another level.
Right. Right. I mean, everything we're talking about is all theoretical, and
It's in the works.
the possibility.
It's in
Right.
the
Right. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying that we're theorizing as to what this future can be like, but hopefully it's like you said, where you just look at the text, and even though you don't know how to read Japanese, you'll be like, okay, I just figured it out. Now I know what it means.
I mean, you'd look at a dictionary and it would translate for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, theoretically, I'm saying, yeah, for sure.
I don't know, man. I feel like humanity ain't ready for that. We're still bickering over chicken sandwiches and shit.
Hey, you got a point, man. There's a lot of people that
We
would
gotta
be.
grow up. We still gotta grow up spiritually, mentally to get these type of gifts. I mean, sometimes to a point, I agree. Like it be like there's certain people who are not gonna do this, and then there's other people that are just gonna be like they're gonna fuck it all up, and I don't want to get bombarded with like porno fucking ads all the time in my fucking brain and shit.
Well, like Noel mentioned, there's going to be people that be able to absorb it, or maybe everybody does. I don't know. But let's say only a select few can really absorb the maximum, and another select few absorb less. Well, then maybe it's going to get down to the survival of the fittest. The people who are the brightest and were able to absorb the most, they're the ones that are going to thrive, and they're the ones that are going to continue to lead the country and lead this world into the future. And where the people that are unable to absorb it as much, they're going to be more towards the bottom run. So maybe there's still going to be a separation of class and in people.
I mean, there's any sort of combinations of things that could go down. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. What I'm kind of theorizing, what I'm hoping for, I guess,
Right.
I'm trying to say, is that it would be something like what I was explaining, where you would be able to get it, merge with it, learn incredible amount of things in just a ridiculously short amount of time, so that everybody would be on an advanced level, so that we'd
Right.
all together rise up and become better than we have been, and we can solve our trash problem, where we're making just endless landfills that we don't know what to frickin' do with, and eventually, as our population grows and grows, and it does not dwindle or it does not fall, this trash isn't it's just gonna freaking overcome all of us. Um, to solve hunger, to solve all the diseases, so that yeah, we'll live to 1,000 because of stuff like this, right? Because we're able to learn better, we're able to become enhanced, or somebody that maybe has a learning disability can overcome that with this.
You know what I always wanted to do to solve the trash problem as a kid is, I know this is gonna sound dumb. I don't know if I understood why when we shoot a fucking like a rocket, just load up a rocket full of all the garbage and just shoot it into the sun.
Yeah, it'd just be too expensive. That'd be a lot of
But you fill
rockets.
that motherfucker up as much as you can, and
You'd
That
then
be
would
you.
like, all right,
be
that's one dumpster. We got 100 more to go.
that's so small,
But
dude.
I'm
Like,
very smart. But you make a massive fucking rocket, man. Like
and you
you don't
can't
think like a rocket. Like you just, I'm talking about like this fucking Cadillac of rockets and shit.
like you would need so much fuel, then it would cost too much.
Oh, we
Right.
got the future coming, man. We could come up with other shit. Put some
Yeah,
nuclear reactor in that bitch to shoot it off.
yeah, no, you got a point.
Well,
There's
like all space travel, they say the hardest part's just getting past the ozone, and once you get there, the fuel amount that it would take to get to the sun is a lot considerably less. Where the cost is just trying to get through our atmosphere and trying to get into space, and then from there on, it's the rest is easy or
But
easier.
yeah, I mean that's why I don't need no fucking Neuralink, man. See, I just solved that problem. But
well,
yeah,
imagine
I
if you
mean
did
I
have
think
it, then
our
you'd build a
biggest
fucking
concern.
rocket ship.
Yeah, the biggest concern I have, I think, yeah, like the biometric shit and all that is gonna happen, but I think we gotta worry more about AI because you've seen like articles and blogs come out about how this is kind of fucking dangerous. The fucking AI is gonna take over and shit.
If Neuralink happens before AI, we're gonna be all right because we're gonna already be merged with them. What would be the risk? Well, what would they be able to do
The
better than us?
biggest science fiction shit ever, man, is the AI takes over, man.
Takes over in what way?
I mean, like Skynet shit, bro. They're gonna figure out humans are fucking obsolete, and they're gonna try to get rid of us.
You're talking about humans like that aren't. If like I'm saying, if Neuralink happens before AI,
Yeah,
humans are gonna be on another level. They won't be able to be just taken out by AI. We'll be thinking on the same. We'll be on a level playing field. The only thing that'll hold us back is that our bodies are fragile. But if we merge with AI, then we'll be essentially the same. That's the next level
but
of,
what
of
about if
human
AI?
evolution.
You don't think AI is gonna want to learn too? Because basically, it's turning itself into it wants to be, it wants to live. It's gonna be like it's gonna think it's a bean, and you can't just turn off the switch pipe because then they probably built some of their own shit, which is like, I think I read a blog one time. Facebook created some AI shit, two different AIs, and then they started talking in their own language, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And they shut this shit down because they got fucking freaked out. And I think Elon Musk talks a lot about AI, how dangerous it is.
Well, it definitely is dangerous. But if we merge with AI, then we're essentially the same. You know what I mean? Like, look at it as we're both just existing. Because AI, essentially, once you create AI, it's a sentient being, essentially, right?
Hell, it's a fucking robot. It's a machine. It's software. How can
But
it be a
it's
sentient being?
but we are too, dude. We're software too. We're just
Nah, man,
we're
nah.
we're,
That's why I
we're
tell you, we
just
gotta grow
bioorganisms.
spiritually too, man. It ain't just you. How can you say something that man created be equal as a human being?
Shit, man.
It's the, an
Fucking
An animal has more rights than that fucking AI.
we're probably all in a simulation anyway, dude. So what does it
Oh
matter?
shit.
You ever
Man,
look
the
up
Matrix is coming back.
the double slit experiment?
I might have. If you explain it to me, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'll send you a YouTube link later, and I'll send it to the for the to everybody to see too.
It,
It's a YouTube video, really quick, like 14-minute video describing all the reasons why we're probably in a simulation right now.
well, you
Damn.
know, Elon Musk said some of that shit, and I know controversial Alex Jones kind of talked about it, and Elon Musk kind of confirmed it about multi-dimensional and like simulation shit, and I'm just like, this is getting kind of fucking crazy because it was just you talk about like movie shit, and you got two people. just talking about it, that Elon Musk is obviously Alex Jones. He has his issues, but Elon Musk kind of confirmed some of the shit that he was saying out. There's a video of that saying like when Alex Jones first talked about this on Joe Rogan's show, people were like laughing at him, and then Elon Musk kind of just like confirmed it like 6 or 7 months later what he was talking about.
It's crazy. Like if you watch the video, you're gonna be like, oh wow, it talks about stuff that you wouldn't think about unless it pointed out to you. And then once it's in your head, I'm not saying I believe we're in a simulation. I'm saying I believe it's possible we're in a simulation.
Yeah,
it's a chance.
Some flat Earth talk here, man.
Nah, dude, nothing like that. The
No?
Earth is round. We're in a universe, whatever. But I'm saying all this is potentially a simulation. Like, yes, we're on a spinning globe or whatever, and in a fucking huge, vast universe. But there's a chance that this whole universe is being simulated by something who knows what the fuck, and
Right.
everything that we
Devil.
see becomes reality through our consciousness. So
Wow, it sounds interesting, man. Yeah, definitely send us that YouTube link. I'm kind of curious to check it out myself.
it really comes to like it makes you think about reality and consciousness, because it does an experiment where there's an outcome that you don't know what it is, but once you look at the outcome, then it becomes reality. And so it applies that to everything. It's like once we look at something, then it's reality. You know what I mean? You'll have to watch the video. I can't really explain it that well.
Oh man, it sounds really cool. Now that the episode's kind of wrapping down, Andy, give us final thoughts on this article.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping Freeform Radio goes to 1,000 episodes, but realistically, I agree with some of Noel shit. Like, it's coming. They're gonna start putting chips and shit to make us better. There's probably gonna be upgrades and shit like that. It first starts with getting rid of diseases, vaccinations. The article talks about, which is true, which is something we need. That's why we live longer. But it's I feel like something that humanity shouldn't fuck with. I mean, we still have a lot of fucking growing to do, because basically, if you look how long humans have been here, we're fucking like toddlers. We're still fighting over stupid shit, and we're still pissed off about people are white, black, yellow, red. We're just like, oh, we're fucking better than those people. Like, humanity needs to grow up a shitload more before we start fucking with this stuff.
Right. I kind of agree. I think we're kind of dumb, or too dumb to put it that way. I think we would be really foolish even if we did live that long. I think resources would become an issue just because we fight over such trivial stuff. I mean, chicken sandwiches is like, my God, come on, people. Like, these are the things we're preoccupying our minds with. It's just like, it should be like Noel said, like the thirst for knowledge and to try to better ourselves and try to live longer and eradicate all the diseases so that we can live comfortably healthy for a long time and grow together. So I definitely think, like to Andy's point, I think we do need to grow a lot, and it's still something that I hope we can strive for. Any closing thoughts, Noel?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. I hope we can grow to be stronger, smarter, better, just be better than the people before us. We've gone through so much, humanity has, so there's definitely potential. We're not there yet. We still need to we still need to work out. We still need to, get stuff moving so that we can also be in better shape as a whole.
Well, speaking of amazing, this amazing episode has to end, so we want to thank y'all for listening. Remember, you can follow us on Freeform Network on Facebook, at Twitter on the Freeform Network. You can send your questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. Let us know what age you want to live up to. If you would do upgrades, the biometric, the fucking neural link, would you all be willing to do that? Because we all know it comes with a price. You can visit our webpage under freeformnetwork.podbean.com. There, where you see us on all the fucking platforms we're on. We've been adding more shit. We're on all of them, man. We're on YouTube, everything. If you're on that platform, like, subscribe if it lets you. Hit us up with a review to help us out. So, again, this is Freeform Radio. We have Danny.
Yes, sir. Zoom, 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 and that boom, boom.
That's why we're never gonna be smart enough.
Am I the one holding us back?
Yeah, Danny, thank you. Noel.
Thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and I hope you liked the episode. And we'll keep it coming at you with some more interesting topics.
I'm with Danny. I like Boom Boom and the Zoom Zoom too, especially when it comes to the ladies. So, again, this is Andy. We will check you out. We'll hope for another fucking 999 episodes to reach the 1,000 milestone. And we want you to, thanks for staying on this journey with us, guys. So, we'll check you out next time.
That was cool, Dad.